Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Rob Shumay, and I'm joined with my co-host, the amazing guru, Jim Scarcelli. Jim, how are you this morning?
Man, it's college football season, Rob. I'm fired up. It don't get no better than this. We got good games this weekend. We got some picks out there, some winners.
Awesome. Well, before we get into our picks, which by the way, we were 4-2 last week. So if you were playing along at home with us, you did quite well last weekend, and we'll get to that later. But hey, Jim, let's talk about some of what I think are the great or feel good stories in college football this year. In the SEC, who would think Vanderbilt, right?
You know, Rob, I'm an old high school coach, man, and I know the difference between, taking over a blue blood program with all the resources and all the demographics and all the kids. And high school is the same stuff. And then you go take over Vanderbilt or take over Georgia or take over Alabama. Alabama. Those are a world of differences. This guy goes to Vanderbilt. Clark Leah, I've been following his career. He's always, he's been worked under some good people, proven defensive coach. I'm an old defensive guy. But anyway, he takes the job at Vanderbilt, tough academics, hard to get kids in school, and he's hired good people, man. I looked at some of the guys he's hired. He's got Jerry Kill. If you know anything about him, Jerry Kill went over there and built. All that guy does is build programs, built Minnesota, built Northern Illinois. He's got dudes on his staff, and he's brought the right transfers in. He's kept his quarterback, and he's a winner. And it's just great to see. I like to see guys that aren't born on third base, Rob. I mean, I'm keeping it real, man. Jim Harbaugh talked about Ryan Day. I mean, this is exactly the total opposite of being born on third base.
Well, let me ask you this. From a betting standpoint, if I would have told you, all right, Jim, what are the odds that Vanderbilt would outscore Virginia Tech and South Carolina 65-7 over 6 quarters? What odds would you need to take Vanderbilt in that situation?
I know,
because that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, it's guy runs a good scheme. The only problem with what he runs, he runs his quarterback a lot, which is high risk, but he's tough to defend, and he's a real good because a lot of times, Rob, the best offensive coaches are guys that understand defense. But he went out and got Brett Pry over there at Virginia Tech, got him fired, and then South Carolina. This guy's so reliant on his quarterback, he gets his quarterback banged up, and he can't do nothing. That's disappointing. Beamer over there at South Carolina. But
I'm looking forward to Vanderbilt going to Alabama October 14th. That should be a hell of a matchup for a change.
Yeah, they beat him at home last year.
Yep. And then another feel-good story, which, again, last week you introduced the concept of how important the coach is, right, when you're looking to place a bet. And a coach I think you like, John Summerall at Tulane.
I've been following him, man. He's another guy that's worked under good people. He's just like Clark Leah, man. He's not born on third base. Tulane was good though before he took the job, but he's a defensive coach, Summerall, and they play really, really good defense. Manny Diaz took his quarterback to Duke, paid him $3 million, and then it comes back to Tulane with the kid and whoops him. So the guy's a good coach. In fact, Lane Kiffin made a comment about the guy because they play Tulane this weekend. He said, this guy's going to coach, somewhere next year. So people are crazy because I was advocating him for some other jobs last year because I just know he's a good coach. You see guys that are winning that don't have all the resources. You can recognize good talent.
Yep, and so those are two teams I know that's a big matchup with Ole Miss this weekend. I don't know. It's not one of my favorite games to bet because, quite frankly, I think anything could happen in that game.
Yeah, I think it's like 11.5. Tulane has players. They've got a coach. Can they match up with that kind of talent they're going to see there? But they are getting a little bit of respect. It's only 11.5, going on the road to Ole Miss. So people are respecting what Tulane has done.
Yeah, I don't
You
have
know,
a good feel on that.
well, he got that quarterback from BYU. He went and got that kid that was left BYU, who was a good player. The kid that had trouble at BYU. So he's you could make the argument that it's not a terrible look because he's got a quarterback. The guy knows how to coach defense. He has good players he brought in. But I don't have a great feel on it, but you can make the argument for Tulane.
Yep, absolutely. Other big news this week, and I know you were on the show last year with Coach Warner, and at one point we talked about how the transfer portal was affecting not just all the college teams, but also the bowl season. And now, big change this week, adopted very quickly to go to a single transfer portal window that's going to open January 2nd. How
Well,
do you feel?
Rob, the issue is these teams that are in the playoffs and making a run there, good. What are these kids? Are these kids going to play in bowl games after January 2nd? If they got to be enrolled in school. So it's all about the time school enrolls. Some schools start a little later, their second semester. So are they going to have an advantage? Because, Michigan starts early January and Ohio State starts late January, their second semester. Some of that stuff plays into, being able to bring these kids in. I imagine coaches, I haven't heard a lot of feedback from the coaches, but the guys that are in the playoffs and in those late run, making them late runs, is it going to affect their ability to recruit kids and be at a disadvantage over guys that are not in the playoff? So those are things I'm going to be looking at. Are you going to have guys, are you going to have guys that are going to drop out? Their team's in the playoff and they're a second string guy. You're a backup, but your team's in the playoff and you're like, you know what, man, I got a chance to go and I got to go now. So I'm sorry, coach, I'm leaving.
And then, what if he's like, to your point, if their team's in the playoff, I know the transfer portal for the kids whose teams are in the playoffs doesn't start. They have 5 days, I think, after their season ends. They're already 2 or 3 weeks behind in classes at some of these schools that they want to transfer to. So is that really in the best interest of the kids?
Yeah, I guess it depends on which kid and what situation. And, Rob, we'll see how it plays out, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. But, I think there's going to be more changes and tweaks to that as they learn what the benefits and the drawbacks were of the new system. So I don't know. It's becoming more like pro football. The free agent signing period. You hear
I know,
schools.
and there's so many things that discourage me. We got Michigan State. I get it. You're playing Michigan State is going to play at 11:00 p.m. their time to go play USC this Saturday night. And does that mean you care about the kid? The kid, they're going to get home at 8 a.m. Sunday morning. Oh yeah, we care about the kid's academics and or whatever. I mean, I get it. They're getting paid now, so I guess you can have them play at 11:00 at night and get back at 8 a.m. And flying in a plane for 4 hours on the way back.
And when are they going to leave? When would they have to leave? Thursday?
Well, no, they would probably leave today. And just you're not going to be. It doesn't. You're not going to get acclimated to the time. You play the game, and young kids they're not like old guys going to bed at. They're used to being up late. So. But the problem I have is what time they're going to get back and what that does to their whole schedule and routine and the life of a college kid, so whatever.
Yep. Anyway, let's move to the game film, Jim. And we're using Michigan this season to not just teach you about some football, but take a look about some things that Michigan does well or changes from week to week. So you ready, Jim?
Let me know when you're. I've got it up here. Let me know when you're seeing it.
We're good to go.
Okay, listen. Michigan paid a lot of money to get this kid from Belleville, Michigan. He was recruited by everybody. He's a 5-star kid, Bryce Underwood, and he's done some things. This is his third start against Central Michigan. and he's getting better. And this is stuff you can't coach some of this stuff. The protection breaks. He sees the seam in the pass rush, and he takes off and runs. And this is the stuff. You get a guy that can run and throw. That's what every coach is looking for. The guy that can throw the football, is smart, tough, competitive, and can also run like that. They get the ball on the goal line here again. Central Michigan is a MAC school. We got, Michigan's got bigger kids and better kids, and they just get the ball on the goal line and just hammer them in here. I'd like to see Michigan, the quarterbacks, carry out fakes. If you're going to run this RPO stuff, the ball is in the mesh point, Rob, and they're reading that thing, and I'd like to see them carry out a fake. And I don't like this weak effort of a fake here, but I'm an old high school coach and used to defend option. I know that it matters when you carry out fakes.
Yeah, and I think your point is against a team that has bigger guys up front, without that fake, that play may not be as successful.
Yeah. Well, then when you do keep it, what are you going to all of a sudden now you're going to run hard when you do keep the football? You know what I mean? The defense is going to see that.
Yep.
So you have to be consistent. Run hard when you have it. Run hard when you don't. Okay, Michigan has made a change now. They talked about it. They did it a little bit last year. They got probably one of their top defensive players, this kid Barham, real good inside linebacker. Okay, and they moved him to the edge position. He's played a little bit there, but he's a 6'4", 245, 50-pound athletic kid, and they moved him to the edge. And he really made some plays in this football game. So Nebraska will see him. I think you're going to see a lot more of him playing on the edge. He's been playing as a good inside backer, but you see his speed and athletic. I mean, this is Micah Parsons type stuff. I stood next to this kid. He's a tall, athletic, big kid, and he's tough. And he's playing on the edge now. So they moved him to the edge, and shuffling their personnel a little bit.
So what do we have? What are we looking at there?
Well, what we're looking at this play here now is just him again. We're just this essentially just he's getting pressure again. Michigan's in a little different look here, something they hadn't run, somewhat of a flex nose guard. They got him off the ball. I was just pointing that out, but again, Michigan is 3rd and 18, and they got the same kid in the game. And they're getting pressure and, defending this pass pretty good. So they went up early, 7-0 on Central Michigan. Now, Michigan is doing a lot. They went to Oklahoma and they got beat, and they didn't do really any of this stuff, rolling the quarterback out. I think they're realizing we have a kid that can run, and they're rolling him out. Get him on the move. So this stresses the edges of the defense. And I like the block there by that running back. But, Rob, when you're playing defense against Michigan now, okay, these two players have to be conscious now of containing the quarterback because they'll roll they can roll them either way now. You got it? So it just puts more stress on the edge of the defense, the things that people can do, knowing that you have a quarterback that can run. And
so they can't just rush blindly back to the spot of the quarterback. Yeah, they got to contain the outside.
That's right. You've got to you got to be. It's got to be something you're thinking about pre-snap that they can do with this kid. So Michigan gets outside of this kid, and people are going to watch this film. This guy is. They hadn't really seen it till this game. So we get this guy reach pretty easily because they haven't shown it. And now we get this guy reach. He could have ran. He throws it. But that's an impressive play. That's the kind of stuff that totally changes, how a defense has to think about a team when you start running those kind of plays. Michigan gets Central Michigan a little confused here. These two guys are confused up here at the top in their assignment, and they let a guy run free, and Underwood puts it right on there. And that's just
a nice touch on that ball too.
Rob, a lot of things will create confusion for a defense. Sometimes it's a formation. And sometimes it's just the release of the receivers. And I think it might have been the release of these two receivers, how they come off the ball. And sometimes little things will get people confused. So if you look at it, somehow, some way, they're confused.
Yeah. Well, I have to admit, Jim, last night I burst out laughing as I'm laying in bed watching the Rice game because the commentator was like, they got the defense in conflict there. And the other guy goes, that's what you want to do. You got to get them in conflict.
Yeah. Well, I watched that game. Rice is running some stuff that people aren't really seeing a lot of. They're running option. I watched a little bit of that game. Guy's a good coach. He's a smart coach. It's like you go to a place like Rice, are you going to run the same stuff everybody else is running, or are you going to try to do something different? You know what I mean? To be unique. Yep. If you can't go get bigger, better players, then you got to do what Army, Navy, Air Force do. You got to beat guys with the team. So that's kind of what that guy's doing. And I respected, listening to him talk and what he's done. He's another guy that's not born on third base. That guy, I mean, really, the dude's been at, like, I was listening to his bio. He's won at a couple different schools. He's a proven winner, small schools.
Yep.
This stuff is what makes Michigan going to be tough to defend is run or pass with this kid, with this quarterback. He sees something and he just takes off and runs. This is not a predetermined run, Rob, but he sees he's really recognizing it quick, and they've given him the green light. He sees a seam in the rush lanes, and he's just taking off. That's
a couple times now that right tackle's done a good job taking that end and just riding them all the way outside to create that seam.
Yeah, but it was a pass that he just recognized it on the fly that there's a seam there. So they're giving him the green light. If you see something,
how big is the problem that you just showed there? Zavada, who was All-American, I think he missed a couple field goals all last year.
Yeah,
he's missed that many already.
No, I know. Kickers is all about the mind. Obviously he has the physical skills and talent to do it, but yeah, you've got to be thinking about what's going on in his head. That's all about, like, Jake Moody got cut from the Sanford 49ers now. That kid had the same thing. He was in his rut for a while there, and then he made 20 in a row. So you got to deal with the guy from a psychological standpoint. And here's this kid again, making plays. This guy they moved to the edge, just beating this guard. So I guarantee you, Nebraska's looking at this film and they're saying, well, we didn't see this dude the first couple games, because he was playing inside.
He was out the first half against Oklahoma too.
That's right. He didn't play against Oklahoma. He played inside linebacker against Oklahoma. So now he is on the edge and he just beats everybody and makes a play. So Nebraska will see it and be aware of it. Run pass formation. I like Michigan here, 2nd and 9. And they're, you could throw it, you could run it. I like that they're not showing their sometimes they get high in their stance. They show when it's run, they show when it's pass, just by their stance. You know what I mean, Rob?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is the stuff Michigan has to be able to get a lot more. If you want to beat the great teams, Ohio State has, in Oregon, they got guys that are making these kind of plays. The great teams have players that will make plays and help a quarterback out. Bryce puts it in a great spot where only our guy can get it. Michigan's guys can get it. And he makes a hell of a play. This is a little push off here. Refs don't call it. Big 6'5" kid. Rob, this is the play. It's crazy. I put this in and did it showed it Monday on another podcast I do. And this is the terminology I use. I said, this changes everything. This play changes everything. This is what I said Monday. I heard Urban Meyer yesterday, and he used the exact same language I used when he just talked about this one play. Okay, if this one play changes how you have to defend Michigan. Okay, I'm going to show you what it is. And Urban Meyer said the exact same thing I said, because he understands defense, he understands offense. So Michigan executed, but it's quarterback run, and it's a predetermined quarterback run. Now, this is the stuff that you ask about Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's running a ton of this stuff.
Yep.
Okay, this is predetermined run. And the only downside is you get your quarterback taking hits. Okay, and it puts the defense in conflict. You've got a run play. You got a running back going this way. So the defense has to honor, stuff going this way. So, you got a lot of things going on. They're in conflict. And now you run and they execute it. Michigan executes it properly. I got a lot of lines and scribbling up there, but
no, you can see how the blocks, they sealed the inside off, and the running back took the guy outside there.
Yeah, the guard blocks him. The fullback comes around and seals him, but it's quarterback run all the way.
And at that point, it's not like you need a pancake block there. You just need it long enough for him to get around the edge.
That's right, get in his way. But the biggest deal is the defense lines up, and they got to defend those plays. Okay, anytime you got to line up and now defend predetermined quarterback runs where he's not just handing the ball off, that makes it more difficult. We'll look at about 3 more plays, Rob.
Okay.
And what do I got here? Read runner. Oh, this is a great play by the Michigan defensive back here. It's 4th and 1. This could be run or pass. But this is just you got to read. Secondary players have to read and recognize, is it a run play or is it a pass play? And you've got to do it within a split second. And this kid does a great job recognizing that it's a bubble screen, and he comes up and takes on this receiver and just beats the hell out of him. And this is a great play. This is one of the best defensive plays in that game, I thought. Taking on the player, stuffing them. It's just like playing defensive line now. When he engages this player, this player, this is just like a defensive lineman now taking on a tackle or a tight end. You know what I mean?
And that play was made about 3 steps before, because he took off a rocket.
That's right. He recognized it fast, and then he's more physical and tougher, and he's just stuffing this dude. I mean, that's just great football. Well coached, and they're off the field now. So that was a great job by the Michigan's coach. Does a great job teaching that, because I've seen a bunch of guys guys they put on the field that do a good job with that. This is a deceptive play. This is the stuff I was looking for, as a former Michigan guy, that I wanted to see more of Michigan do, is deceptive stuff that helps our offensive line. And this is a fake run play to the top. It looks like we're running the football here.
Yep.
Because you got our back going this way.
You got the fullback or tight end. I couldn't see who it was coming in.
You've got 2 guys pulling this way, and it looks like the ball's going this way. Okay, the only thing you got 1 dude coming this way. That's it. And you got a center who's doing a great job sneaking out slowly. That the defense really doesn't see him. But this is the deceptive play, because we have false pulls. You got a false pull here. You got a false pull here. You got the back, and the quarterback's going to put it in his gut. Again, it looks like the play's going this way. And the center sneaks out, and he gets this. This guy's an idiot for Central. He don't know what he's doing. They don't even have to block him. No, really, they don't even have to block him, Rob. And the center sees it, and he goes and gets another player.
Yep.
So that was a good job by Michigan center. And just good. It was good on all.
First touchdown, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good, and it was good from a coach's standpoint, because it's a deceptive play that helps the offensive lineman, helps the offense. Then it was executed really well executed. So I'll get one more play, and because we could spend an hour on this.
Yeah.
This is the time the defense. Oh, okay, yeah. This is Wink Martindale, Michigan's defensive coordinator. He does a good job of disguising, who he'll bring this guy, he'll bring this guy, he'll bring this. He does so much stuff pre-snap. People don't know what the hell he's doing. He ends up bringing this corner at the top, and he does a good job. Left shoulder, gets the kid on the ground.
Well, and that was a
So,
big difference in this game. And, I know it's a different level of quarterback, but, last week they weren't making that tackle. They were getting in there
no.
and letting
Yeah,
him
against
escape.
Oklahoma, I'm going to get out of this film here, Rob. Against Oklahoma, they missed that kid in the backfield.
Right.
But that
Right.
was a better quarterback, more athletic kid. But if you guys want more film, let us know. We can do more film in the future.
Yeah. What do you think about the matchup this week with Michigan and Nebraska?
Man, that's I'm really high. Both coaches. Matt Rule's a really, really good coach. He's a builder. Guy was never born on third base. He built Temple. They were terrible. He built them into a winner. He went to Baylor. They were bad. He built them into a winner. He wants to play physical. It's going to be a low-scoring game. What's that number, Rob? I don't know what the over-under is, but I think it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Oh, the over-under? It's 46.5 or 47.5, depending on your.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game because their offenses are similar. So if their offenses are similar, that normally helps the defense out because they're used to seeing that kind of physical football. Matt Rule wants to run the football with two backs at times. So does Sharon Moore. So does Michigan.
But Rule likes to take a shot on the long pass too. After he's
will.
doing that,
He's got his offensive coordinator, Daniel Holgerson, is a guy I respect. He's really hard to predict, hard to figure out what he's going to do. He'll throw it on first down. He's a good offensive coordinator. Wink Martindale has his hands full figuring out what this guy does. He's got a big quarterback. He started 14 games now. Highly recruited Raiola. So they're good on offense. They're sound. They're all over the place. They'll throw it. They run it. Michigan defending them. I would say if they can keep Nebraska, they're gonna have to keep Nebraska under 17-18 to win the football game. I don't know that Michigan's going to score 25 points. It's going to be a tough sled scoring the football for both teams, I think.
I think we're going to know if Nebraska's run defense is up to stopping, now Underwood and Haynes and Marshall. If they can do that, I think Nebraska wins it pretty handily, because I do think their pass defense is excellent, and I think Underwood's going to have a hard time racking up the passing yards she did certainly against Central.
Yeah, but Nebraska's going to do everything they can to first take away Michigan's ability to just hand the ball off to their two running backs. But Nebraska's very well coached on defense. The guy's been around, worked with the Buffalo Bills. They're doing a few different things in there. They do a lot of different things, slanting and stunning and stuff. But I saw them against Cincinnati. I saw some mistakes out there. I saw some players that maybe are kind of average. I think I think Michigan's going to move the ball a little bit, but it's going to be a slugfest to try to move the football. I don't have a great feel on picking that game. The under might be something worth taking a good look at, because I think it's going to be a struggle for both teams to move the football.
Yep. Some of the other games in the Big Ten, I know we're going to take a look at a couple in our picks of the week. But the big one we're not taking a look at as far as betting is Illinois and Indiana Indiana.
Well, two good coaches. Again, neither born on third base. What Signetti has done at Indiana is unbelievable. All that dude's ever done is win at small places. Rob, I'm going to say this. You're going to see more and more college football athletic directors and presidents. They're all looking for Curt Signetti's. Which is good. In my opinion, that's good. They're looking for proven guys. They don't want any more of these hotshot coordinators that worked under some dude that's never proven himself as a leader. So I really like that. That's the trend. Go find a guy that worked at Allegheny A&T and built a program. Anyway, that's going to be a hell of a game. It's 6.5. Signetti went out and got a real good quarterback. He stole him from Cal. When I was playing at Michigan back in the day, you played at Indiana. it wasn't much of a home field advantage for them. It was half empty, and half them people would be Michigan fans. So you go to a game now in Bloomington, it's packed and they're loud and they've got a home field. So it's 6.5.
And that line moved, didn't it? I think it opened at 5.5.
I think maybe 4. But people are looking at Indiana. He's got a quarterback. The guy's well coached on defense. But so is Brett Bielema. Brett Bielema has a quarterback. Brett Bielema is a damn good defensive coach. He's got a lot of people back. He's got some skilled guys. I'll tell you, I'm not betting on the game. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to love watching that game. God, if someone pushed me, I might think that game should be 3.5, 4, not 6.5. That's kind of because I really like Brett Bielema as a defensive coach. And he's got a quarterback too. Bielema has a quarterback too. So I'm not taking a pick on it, but if someone pushed me, I think it might be a close game. It might be a little high with the 6.5, but they're both very well coached teams, both tough on defense, both have quarterbacks, and Indiana has a crowd now, man.
Yep. A couple games from the out west renewing some rivalries that I don't think will be much of a game. Oregon State, and Washington State.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. It's sad that those two teams in those states are just – it's unbelievable what's going to happen to those rivalries. They don't have the NIL money. They don't have the television money. I've been on both of those campuses, and I've been to a game at Oregon State, and it's sad that they had such a great rivalry with those schools, and now they're at such a different level trying to compete for kids. That Washington State and Oregon State it's sad.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's move into some of our featured games, and this one's still in the Big Ten. Iowa-Rutgers.
That's a game I really like with Iowa. I looked at. I've seen them both play. I really respect both coaches. They're both proven good coaches, good defensive, just good. Iowa's defensive back or coordinator I played back against way back in the day. Robbie played it for the Spartans, Phil Parker. So he's an old dude like me. I know him from way back. Hell of a player. But anyway, I saw Iowa against Iowa State. Iowa State's good, tough. I saw Rutgers a little bit. I saw them against Ohio, who ended up being a pretty good team. But why I like Iowa is I watched Rutgers on defense, and I don't see the size, strength, and physicality of a Rutgers defensive front that I've seen in the past. I saw Ohio running the ball on them a little bit, pushing them around a little bit, and I guarantee you Iowa's going to be a hell of a lot more bigger and physical than Ohio was.
Yeah, that's exactly the reason I like this game is Rutgers' run defense, it's certainly not a strength. It's a weakness in Iowa. They love to control that running game like that. And if they can do that, that's the game they want to play. I like Iowa as well, giving up 2.5.
Rutgers, look, Shiano's a damn good defensive coach and always has been. And but I see Rutgers off defensive line, defensive front, not as good as it's been. And I'm not a big believer in his quarterback, the kid that left Minnesota.
Yep.
I think he's inconsistent. I think he's capable of throwing a ball the wrong way. Now, look, they're going there. They're playing Friday night. Okay, I've been to a game at Rutgers. They'll have a crowd. It's somewhat of a factor. It's not like going to Eugene, Oregon, or but it's a Friday night game. What does that mean? It's a little bit of a home field, but the reason I like Iowa is Rutgers D-line is not up to standards. And I don't have faith in the Rutgers quarterback. I got more faith in the Iowa kid. I got faith in the Iowa run game. I got faith in Ferentz. And I got faith in the Iowa defense, who is up to Iowa standards. So that's why I'm taking Iowa.
Defense travels, right?
Yeah, defense. And he's a damn good defensive coach. And they've got players. and they played a tough game already this year. Didn't win, but that's my rationale.
Yep.
Those two reasons.
Sticking in the Big Ten, Michigan State and USC. Your favorite, an 11 o'clock kickoff Eastern.
Yeah, I don't think the time is going to be a issue for 20-year-old kids. Those guys, it's irrelevant. I hated it as a player hanging around. I mean, that is miserable to have to hang around all day. I mean, I played night games. I played at 8 o'clock at night in college, 7 o'clock at night, and that's miserable to sit around that hotel. I mean, these guys are going to be sitting there terrible. 11 o'clock their time. Anyway, I beat that up already. But I've seen both these teams play, Rob, and I really, both coaches are damn good. Both defensive coaches are damn good. Lincoln Riley, really good offensive coach. He's the founding father on a lot of stuff people are doing in college football. It all started with Lincoln Riley, some of the schematic things that people are doing, but he's got a good quarterback. He's recruited good players. He's got better players on his defense. He did a good job in the portal, bringing guys in. He's got a damn good defensive coordinator. He stole him from UCLA. So I think USC is a little bit better than last year when they were a good team last year, but I think he's a little bit better. They're undefeated. And I've been to a game at the Coliseum, and it's a big place. It's not real loud and nasty, but it's a home field, but it's not, I wouldn't put it on par with, the real intimidating places. Okay, so they're good on defense, good defensive coach. Now, Michigan State, I like their coach. He runs the outside zone. That's people don't see it. They hang their hat on a couple plays that people don't see. He's got an athletic quarterback who's been around, who's capable of making stupid mistakes, but he's a hell of an athlete, and he can have a great game. He can look like Michael Vick one game and take over a game.
Yep.
And so when I'm betting, I'm taking Michigan State. So I'm betting, okay, Michigan State doesn't have the greatest athletes on defense. They got a good coach. Okay, will USC score? Yeah, they'll score. They'll probably score. They could score anywhere from 28 to 35 points. I don't know that they're going to go beyond 35 points. Then I got to ask myself, will Michigan State score 20 points? I think they will score 20 points. So that makes me a winner. If I look at it from that standpoint, I think Michigan State will get some stops. I think they'll move the football with his Jonathan Smith's he's a good coach. That guy's another one that was never born on third base. He built Oregon State back up from garbage. So I see Michigan State scoring enough points and keeping that game where they're going to cover for you at 18.5.
Yeah, and I could see Michigan State's defense being good enough against the run that you almost turn USC one-dimensional. And if that happens, it's more likely that MSU keeps the game, certainly within that 18.5 point spread.
Yeah, that's going to be tough to do. USC has got good players, but they're not overwhelmingly 18.5 better than the Michigan State guys. I mean, Michigan State beat a talented Boston College team, and they got Big Ten players, man, and their quarterback is a game changer if he just does some smart things with the football. So yep. I'm taking the Spartans.
I'm with you on that one too. The next one is North Texas Army. I know, Jim, just for a little bit of history, you make quite a bit of hay off of the service academies, don't you?
Well, you got to know when to take them and when not to. Who knows how to defend what they do. Now, these guys played last year, but both very good coaches. Guy at North Texas is building something. He's a proven winner. He just hammered somebody, I think Washington State last week. But Army won the game last year in Texas in a close game. But I think their quarterback was hurt. I think they were playing with a backup. But they were able to keep North Texas from scoring too. It was a low-scoring game. I think I took the over and I got killed. But Army's tough at home. Army is healthy. They got two quarterbacks. They rotate in. North Texas will score points, but I know I've been to a game at Army, and the Army plays tough at home, man. So basically, you're just asking is even though North Texas scored a bunch of points against whatever the hell Washington State did last week to get their ass kicked. Rob, I'm just betting on Army, man. I'm betting on Army at home. I know they beat them last year with a backup quarterback. Army will slow down. North Texas is a running gun team, and they'll move the ball up and down between the 20s. But will they score? That's where Army says, okay, you can throw it, but now you got to get inside the 15. And what are you going to do against me now? Now you can't hide. So,
and Army's going to control the ball. I will say if North Texas can somehow stop Army's run game, which I don't think is likely, the script flips dramatically. But our Army's used to figure out how to gain the yards they need and retain control of the ball.
Well, that's a big thing, Rob. When you're betting on the academies, and these guys do a great job. These guys know their offense. Army, Navy, Air Force, they know what the hell they run. Those coaches and they've seen every adjustment in the world. So, they're going to look at what North Texas did last year to slow his scoring down. And the North Texas coach will look at what they did, but they're going to make adjustments. Just because you kept me to 14 last year or 12 last year doesn't mean I'm going to, So that's the thing you're going to look at. And the Army coaches do a great job adjusting. So if you're betting live and you're watching these guys play, just because they got stopped the first series or two, that don't mean they're going to stop them the whole game.
Right.
Those guys make great adjustments, the academies.
Exactly. So we're going with Army plus the 1.5, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the game I really like this week, which is UNLV given 2.5 at Miami. UNLV, their offense is clicking. I've seen Miami. They've been a bit sloppy over the last couple games. And this line opened much larger than this. I think it opened 5.5 on some and moved down. But I like UNLV here.
Yeah, Rob, when you looked at you saw these, did you see a big difference in talent? Did it look like there was bigger, stronger, more athletic kids for UNLV?
Yeah, and to go back to the coaching, right? It looked to me like a very big difference in the coaching. And Dan Mullen's out at UNLV now as the head coach.
Well, the guy at Miami is a good. What's his name? The old Notre Dame guy. What the hell's his name? Chuck.
Yep.
He's a good coach. Now, the thing about that, I'm not taking a pick on this because I haven't seen these teams play. But the thing, UNLV probably has a lot more NIL money. So you would think Mullins would have had a lot more money to spend. And, is there a big talent differential? The only thing I would look at, UNLV has to travel. I don't know who they played last week or who they got coming up. Are they fired up to go play Miami, Ohio?
At the same time, we one of our picks last week that was successful was UCLA, and one of the things that we both agreed on was, the magnitude and the number of mistakes that UCLA made, right? And Miami's that same kind in that same position. Tons of mistakes in their games. Their red zone efficiency and defense is absolutely atrocious. I don't know. The only thing I think that could possibly change this is if UNLV kind of slows down after halftime for some reason.
Yeah. No, Rob, I listen, I'm not betting on it. I don't know if I haven't seen seen the teams play, I don't stick my nose in there.
Yep.
So that's just me in general. People listening, if you want to know, I'm an old high school coach. I played it game, and I got to see people play before I make decisions. And if you have a good feeling and you've seen it, and then go with it.
Yep. Now, as we close out the show, so just to recap our picks here, we took Iowa minus 2.5, right, Jim?
That's right.
We took MSU getting the 18.5 against USC, right?
Yes.
We took North Texas losing. We took the Army getting a 1.5
That's right.
against North Texas. Of those 3 games, Jim, which of those do you feel the strongest about?
Probably Iowa.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And then I like the UNLV giving up 2.5. Who knows? That line's moved so much already. It may be different by the time the kickoff comes around. But one thing, Jim, that I know you rely on a lot is the college football stats website, right?
Yeah, I like that.
And why don't you talk to the listeners a little bit about why that's important when you're looking to bet on a game?
I just think, I like to look at previous scores against this thing. I don't care if it's a different coach.
Yep.
But I look at that site if like North Texas Army. I can go to it real quick and look at what they did last year. Go ahead, go to the top to Army. I'm looking at Army, okay, what did they do last year? 2024. Go to the top, 2024. They played North Texas last year. What was the deal there?
14-3 win.
Okay, but they had Notre Dame they just come off. See, that's why, again, the reason I like Army again. They just come off Air Force, which is a huge, huge game for them. Huge game. Probably, and they got their quarterback busted up. And now they got to go to Notre Dame the following week and play Notre Dame. Do you think they're fired up to play North Texas?
No, but they beat them.
They end up winning the game. But so that's why when you look at that, you got to think like a coach again and say, well, what the hell, what's going on with their mind? And plus they played in Texas. So I like that site because I can quickly figure out who played what, where, when. Unlike Phil Steele, I don't care if it's a different coach. If it's a different coach, I don't care what the score is. I want to know what those coaches did against each other.
Yep. And
but,
you could see
Rob, yeah, go ahead.
No, UNLV is racking up the points this year, and you take a look at Miami of Ohio's games. Nothing against Wisconsin, only 17 against a Rutgers defense that we feel is pretty darn weak. So that's why I'm liking UNLV there.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. Rob, a couple quick things. I'm going to wrap it up here.
Yep.
Maryland, Wisconsin, we're going to find out about both these teams. Maryland, we're going to find out. But Wisconsin's struggling to move the football. They got great defense. They're tough at home. It's 10. But we're going to find out.
Have we ever heard
Maryland.
that story before?
Yeah. We're going to find out about Maryland. They got a freshman quarterback. He's done some good things. Purdue goes to Notre Dame. I really like the Purdue coach. That's another game. Rob, I know we didn't put it up there, but I think 26 is too many points. I think Purdue, they're going to have fans there. The game, man, I really like the Purdue coach. I think 26 is a lot of points, but fired
like it, but it wasn't one of your top 3 favorites.
It wasn't, but it's another one that I threw in late. Georgia Tech last week, and Purdue was another late throw in that I think that's too many points.
Yeah, and we won with the Purdue bet last week.
That's right. But Rob, I'm all fired up. I got to move on out here in a second.
Yeah, it's a great football weekend. Looking forward to it. I know we're going to have the same success that we did last weekend. And let's go blue.
All right, buddy. Let's crack the bookie, man. Everybody have a great weekend.